Don't mind me, everyone. I'm just finishing up here. I was doing some other things and clicking on things I should not be clicking on because I'm trying to hit OBS and it wound up hitting my editing software by mistake. So I gotta close all this stuff out so it doesn't cause any troubles for us today. Good to see you, Ravi. Good to see you, Ogata. Ravi, enjoying those emojis and gifs I see. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to well, firstly, it's probably best if I show my face when I say this. So let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to another One Piece reflection stream where I go over all the chapters we get at the end of the month for the story of One Piece. We only got 2 chapters in July since we just came out of Oda's break in July, in the middle of July. So we only got 2 chapters, but they were incredibly substantial because they focused pretty much on basically Garp and his massive sudden assault on Hachinosu. So we only got chapters 1087 and then 1088. So starting with it, we got Battleship Bags. And in this one, we find out that in the past, when Garp was younger, and he was, I want to say, he was still a vice admiral at the time. When he was younger, we come to find out that there's an entire wasteland, like an entire ship scrapyard that's full of full-fledged marine battleships that all have massive carved-in dents in them. And Brand New is speaking to Full Body and Django, telling us that these were basically used by Garp as punching bags. The only stipulation of this particular type of training is that you can't use haki or powers in any degree. So this is how Garp was one way that Garp came so incredibly strong. He brought his strength to a point where he's capable of destroying and denting in and damaging full-fledged, highly armored Navy battleships without the use of haki or any powers. Now, mind you, we all know that Garp is Garp is just essentially the opposite of Roger when it comes to both sides of the spectrum. Roger was the strongest on the pirate side with nothing but haki and his strength, and Garp is the strongest on the Navy side with nothing but his haki and strength. So he got this strong just by using ships as his own personal punching bags, which Brand New says that he's kept up for decades, constantly. It was a daily practice for decades. You know how many days are in a single year? 365, usually. And he kept this up every single day, every single year for decades. So his strength is basically unparalleled. But he's telling this to Brand New, saying a much younger Vice Admiral Garp did all of this. In fact, it's a daily practice he's kept up for decades, which means that to this day, he still uses ships as punching bags. So he never let up on keeping himself strong, never let up on keeping himself fit, even though he's like in his 70s. What, he still does it? Why are there 2? The other one was for his apprentice, former Admiral Aokiji. The rule of Battleship Bags is that you can't use haki or powers. The strength of those heroes wasn't gifted at birth. So they had to get this strong. They weren't just naturally strong, inhumanly strong as they are now. This was something they forced themselves and trained themselves to do for basically the entirety of their lives, or at least until Aokiji showed up and became an apprentice to Garp. And then we cut back to Hachinosu, where San Juan Wolf has been thrown into the ocean by Garp. Now, just to remind you, San Juan Wolf has the ability... first, Ravi, thank you. Member for 11 months. This Sunday will be fire from manga and anime both. Yes, it will. The episode comes out at 10:30 my time on a Saturday. It comes out on a Saturday, which is why I get the episodes out that previous night to Sunday. But the One Piece chapter is going to be interesting as well. And I'm keeping my eyes clean of anything related to it. So yeah. CJ! Good to see you! We are on the first chapter of July's chapters of One Piece. And I gotta say, it's good to see you. But thank you, Ravi, for being a member for 11 months. My goodness. I also saw that some other people were like members for a certain amount of time. To think that people would still be members. I'm just like, I appreciate you. You guys don't even know. You help make this channel more stable financially. I just want to say that. I mean, I got it. I'm appreciative for y'all for doing that for me. But going back to it, San Juan Wolf has been thrown into the ocean by Garp. Now, just a reminder, San Juan Wolf ate a devil fruit that essentially allows him to grow his own size. He's already a massive giant, but he's capable of growing to a size that eclipses all of the previous Marineford base. And Garp just tosses his whole body out into the ocean. So San Juan Wolf is massive. You know what? Let me do this. San Juan Wolf. How tall is he? His regular height is, let me see. His regular height, his maximum height is 590 feet and 6 inches. So they don't give his weight on how much he weighs, but this dude has to weigh several hundred tons. But he's 590 feet tall, and Garp just tossed him into the ocean. Halster, good to see you as well. Here both lands one Sunday morning and evening. Ah, I see. But he tossed him directly into the ocean. San Juan Wolf got knocked clean into the water. How does Garp do that? Haul him up to the air before he drowns. And the unfortunate side is that San Juan Wolf is capable of walking amongst the seafloor due to his gigantification. I was about to call it quirk by gigantification devil fruit. But he's still affected when his upper torso or his entire body is submerged. Like, he can walk in it above the shoreline or above the water due to his gigantification, but if his whole body gets just tossed up in there, then he's as helpless as literally anyone else. See, devil fruits can bestow upon the person such incredible power, yet at the same time, they can make them as helpless as a newborn with no way for them to be saved unless their crew gets to them. Ain't that a big, massive caveat? You can gain the power of literally elements themselves, from sand to ice to magma to light to even darkness itself. But if your body touches water, with some exceptions to this group, such as Aokiji Kuzan, who's capable of freezing the water, if you fall into the water, it's as if you were is as if you didn't have any power at all, and you have no way to save yourself. That's crazy how the quid pro quo for devil fruits actually is. Still don't get he's able to get around with Blackbeard's ships. Seems more trouble than it's worth. See, I honestly feel like with San Juan Wolf, he doesn't even have his own ship because he's way too big. Even when he's at his normal size, which is when we saw the chapter when Kuzan was speaking to the Blackbeard pirates for the very first time, you know, after they tried to square up on him and he froze literally half of their crew, San Juan Wolf is seen to be slightly bigger than the entire building they're partying in. And yet, in other times, he's seen to be incredibly large, that is able to eclipse even mountains, even places that's as big as the Marineford HQ itself and hide behind it, but only partially because he's that big. So he could probably fit on a ship if he never uses his gigantification. Because all the times we've seen San Juan Wolf in the anime and other places, he's been using his gigantification, save for that one time when he was completely unconscious and he was sleeping. Because he's a very big dude. And it's possible for him to be on a ship, it just has to be a very big one with very few crew members. But even then, I feel like he just travels throughout the water. Now, mind you, because he's so big and because he can travel through the water, he still feels the effects a little bit, like it makes him slightly weak, but not to the point where he can't actually move. This is the first time we see San Juan Wolf in the water, and he's being at the mercy of the ocean itself, since his whole body is almost fully submerged, like his whole entire upper body, and he really can't do anything. I mean, it's kind of crazy how that happens. because he's capable of moving through the water, but the devil fruit effects of it still doesn't make him immune to it. Or Pedal with his candy slug, which isn't affected by the water at all for some reason. Since it's not since the things that Pedal creates is not exactly an extension of a physical extension of himself, he's capable of manipulating it in a way so that he doesn't get submerged in the water. So that's what allowed Big Mom to be able to go across the water when Nami took Zeus during Whole Cake Island. And that's how he's able to get across the water as well. If you're a Paramecia type and you're able to create something that is capable of being extended from your body, that can also float, but it's not connected to you in a physical type way that you have to, it actually is physically touching you, that's an exception. It's only when your body itself is in the water that you get affected by Devil Fruit powers. Now, if he was to get some sea stone handcuffs put on him, he wouldn't be able to use his powers, but the candy will remain because it's not an element thing. And it's just something he physically can create, Paramecia type-wise. But if something happens to him, the candy still remains. It doesn't just dissipate if something happens to him. But going through here, San Juan Wolf has been thrown on his head underwater, so large that even a shark is basically like a sardine to his size. And we have Vasco Shot, who says, you call this guy a legendary hero, and uses Drunken Spitfire, which is an offshoot of his own ability of the Glub Glub fruit, which allows him to basically breathe fire after, drinking a whole bunch of booze. So I honestly feel like with the Glug Glug fruit, this basically makes it so that Vasco Shot never gets so fully drunk that he's heavily inebriated, but drunk enough for him to enjoy it. The same way, this is another devil fruit that can take the debilitating effects of normal things, such as smoke and alcohol, and it doesn't lead to long-term debilitating effects. Like, alcoholism is a very real thing, and it can affect your body in some very bad ways. Smoking is, well, we all know what smoking is. That tobacco in your lungs constantly all the time can lead to irreversible damage to your lungs. But you have people like Vasco Shot and Smoker who have these devil fruits that basically make those negative effects of their respective devil fruit powers and their respective objects linked to them, and it doesn't affect them at all. Smoker can literally smoke 2 cigars at once, but he'll never suffer the effects of having lung cancer or anything like that, simply because he is essentially smoke himself with the smoke fruit. And Vasco Shot, and I'm just making this assumption here, but it seems likely because that seems to be a trait with these types of devil fruits in this story. Vasco Shot doesn't seem to be the type that can just easily get overly drunk, or at least drunk to the point of inebriation, simply because his own devil fruit allows him to take advantage of that inebriation and use it for combative purposes. So that's another devil fruit that takes the negative effects of drink and the like and turns it actually into a positive. So that's kind of interesting that Oda would make another devil fruit like that. But he shoots Drunken Spitfire and basically launches a massive fireball at Garp. And Garp holds up the heads of at least 3 other pirates in front of him, and they all catch fire. And now, mind you, they're completely engulfed in flames. But Garp holding on to them while they're on fire is literally doing nothing to his hand. And he turns them into his own personal attack called Pirate Fireballs, where he just starts throwing all of these on-fire pirate crew members all around and setting fire to basically the rest of Hachinosu. If Commodore Teach comes back and sees the place wrecked like this, he's going to kill the whole lot of us. And even Pizarro can feel that because he says, that's hot, knock it off. What are you thinking, Garp? Are you trying to destroy this entire pirate island? So I got a comment on this. If Commodore Teach comes back and sees the town all wrecked like this, he's going to kill the whole lot of us. How does he stand up against so many without losing a step? This old man's crazy. So my thing is, Teach is fun-loving. Doesn't Heat from Kid's Crew do that? I don't get why Heat can do that, where with Vasco Shot does it makes sense. I mean, hold on, Heat. I'm about to see. All right, let's go over to his abilities. Because I've always wondered how Heat's able to breathe fire like that casually. But Vasco is able to but it makes sense for Vasco to do it because it's a off-brand, it's a sub thing that he can do because of his own devil fruit power. But Heat is just casually able to breathe fire. How? And it says he has the ability to breathe fire. How he does it has yet to be yet to be explained. Like the rest of the crew, he possesses a strong will, being resistant to Rayleigh's Conqueror's Haki. And he's capable of using 2 swords. But it's never really fully explained how Heat is able to casually breathe fire. Whereas with Vasco Shot, it makes sense because he's essentially being the type of individual who's like a flame eater or like a person who that you see at a circus, at a carnival. It's basically something you would see at a circus or carnival or Cirque du Soleil, where you see people breathing fire. He's basically doing that, except he can do it on command. So a lot of the things that Vasco Shot can do is something you would see at a carnival or a clown do, or like a fire eater would do or whatever. Same with one of Law's crewmates. He was able to shoot out water. I think that was Shachi. I think that was Shachi who did that. That might have been Shachi or Penguin. I'm about to check and see which one. If it's not Shachi, then it's Penguin who did it. I'm about to check right now. Because when they were fighting Blackbeard and his crew on Winter Island. Yes, it was Shachi. Having grown up in a North Blue port, Shachi is an experienced swimmer. He is able to suck in a large amount of water and then expel it from his mouth in a focused stream, accurately hitting a distant target in midair. And he's also slightly resistant to Conqueror's Haki as well. So their explanation is that he's an excellent swimmer and he's able to suck in a large amount of water and then expel it from his mouth in a focused stream. So it doesn't necessarily say that Shachi is like really unique in being able to do that. It's just, I guess, something that he's learned. I think that's just something that he's learned. So Shachi must have some extremely strong cheeks for him to be able to expel water out, for it to not only pierce through the water itself, but also break the surface and be able to hit individuals up top. Because I think he was aiming at the poison apples. Because he was aiming at the poison apples that Doc Q, the explosive apples that Doc Q was planning to throw at Law and his team. And he was able to accurately hit that entire bushel of apples, that whole bushel of apples, able to hit that whole bushel of apples accurately and make it explode before it hit anybody else. So I just chalk it up to it being, these are basically some very strong superhuman people. Though I would chalk Shachi up to being a more superhuman, or at least, beyond normal, not truly superhuman, but beyond normal when it comes to that sort of thing more than Heat. Because Shachi, I can understand. It literally is him swallowing water and then expelling it. But Heat, I don't see him swallowing fire. He just does it. So I don't know what's going on with Heat in that regard. But going back to the chapter, we have them reporting in, we have Kujaku saying that on the ship that, report for Vice Admiral Garp. All the captives and sailors, including the injured, are off the island. And we have Hibari, who's being tended to by Tashigi and the rest of the crew, including, I think, Bogart's on there as well. I haven't forgotten him. I hope Captain Kobe's okay. We're ready to set sail as soon as you are. Pull back, we're done here. Come on, Kobe, Crus, Helmeppo. Yes, sir! This place lives up to its reputation. There's no end to the pirates swarming out of it. I would love for Hachinosu to be like a new map on Pirate Warriors 4. I know I'm asking for a lot, but it would be cool if this was a map, but the enemies just kept swarming out and it was endless. It was just basically a survival mode. I would love that because, him saying this, there's no end to the pirates swarming out of it, I would love a horde survival type mode in One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, where pirates are just constantly pouring in all over and they're just constantly trying to get you. But in the midst of all this, Kuzan is standing there saying, I'm afraid I can't let you leave yet, Garp. And then we have Gruss, Helmeppo, and Kobe all standing up with Garp. Aw man, I should have left earlier. I don't want to die. when you mentioned the future of the Navy, did that include me? So Gruss is really hung up. Gruss is really hung up on the whole speech that Garp saying that Kobe is the future of the Marines. Not only is he jealous, but he also has like this I wouldn't say it's an inferiority complex. Yo, I wouldn't say it's an inferiority complex, but he just feels like it's an insult to him that Garp only sees Kobe as the future of the Marines rather than Kobe and anyone else. So he's all like, when you mentioned the future of the Marines, did that include me? But I'm pretty sure that Garp just meant Kobe, because Kobe is the only one who truly shows what Garp is looking for the future of the Marines. Gruss being out here like, hey, what about me? I mean, if you did anything that Garp really noted of, you probably would have been included in that speech. I'm just saying, for you to react this way and be able, and not only that, but he's distracted by what Garp said rather than focusing on the fact that they're surrounded by an entire Yonko's pirate island crew. So it's all like, I know we're in a very tight situation, but when you said the future of the Marines, did that include me too? Now's not the time or place, but he's so hung up on that he just doesn't want to let it go. A bit of jealousy, and it doesn't help he's a rank above his. Yeah, Prince Gruss is like, what, the captain of Sword? No, wait, that's Diaz. That's Drake, isn't it? Hold on. I'm going to take this opportunity to just rely on the wiki just a little bit. But I'm going to be careful. He's a member of Sword. Yeah, he's a member, occupation, Rear Admiral. Captain. Yeah, he's captain. I was right. He's a captain. Gruss just wants Garp to recognize him too, wants recognition from a legend. I can kind of understand that. Yeah, but at the same time, let's see here. Here's what they describe as his personality. Gruss is a patient, reasonable individual who obeys the usual Marine protocols and avoids unnecessary recklessness, regardless of others attempt to persuade him into action. However, he also seems to envy his co-Marines if they have a higher reputation, as he couldn't believe that Kobe was supposed to be the hero of the Marines and vowed to sabotage him. So, yeah, that's Gruss. Wants recognition from a legend, I can kind of understand, but I'm pretty sure Garp wouldn't understand another Marine trying to ruin and sabotage the very individual he sees as the future of the Marines. So I'm pretty sure Garp would not sit well with Gruss being like that. And, I mean, think about it. I'm going to sabotage this person so I can look good in front of Garp. And then Garp finds out you sabotage the person that he saw as the future. You think you're going to get that recognition you think you're going to get that recognition you think you deserve from Garp. I'm just saying. I know I'm getting distracted here, but his mentality is not in the right place right now. You want to keep going, Kuzan? Watch out for Blackbeard's officers. Listen up, boys. When I say the word, run for the shore. Just make it out alive. Go! And then they say, yes, sir. As Kobe's running and they see an individual... screaming for help, and Kobe's all like, oh no, we didn't free all the captives. Hang on, I'll save you. Thank goodness we didn't leave yet. And then Gruss says, it's a trap, you fool, as it shows that this woman who looks like she was being assaulted by pirates is actually one of the pirates trying to kill them all. And then Garp, moving with blinding speed, shoves Kobe out of the way to keep him from being skewered by Shiryu, and allows himself to be skewered by Shiryu in the process, who's currently invisible. Of course, he becomes visible again, and then Garp grabs him by the scruff of his neck and just one-shots Shiryu and just downs him instantly. Small-time impel down, thug. Yeah, it's Shiryu. He ran Iron Garp through with his sword. The old man's weakened now. Garp! It's nothing. Go to the ship. This is all my fault. You stepped in to save me. And it kind of is Kobe's fault, because Kobe out here, knowing good and well he's on an island full of people who are hunting other Marines because of the Cross Guild. There are so many people on this island that either want them dead or want to bring them in for the bounty, but none of them have good intentions. Yes, here's the thing, you rescued all the slaves. You cannot be distracted in then thinking like, oh no, we lost one person. Hold on, I'll save you. This is an island of deceit, misdirection, and trickery. The home of a person who orchestrated the entire Marineford War, gained access to the powers of one of the most powerful people in One Piece, and thus usurped his territory and became a new Yonko in his place. This is not a place for you to be slacking. Garp knows this, but Kobe is too kind-hearted. That's the thing he needs to work on. He's too kind-hearted to see whether or not it's a trap. He just sees it like, oh no, someone's screaming for help. I have to help them, and doesn't even think about whether or not this is an attempt to trick him. The Blackbeard pirates are doing everything they can to keep them on the island to either murder them or keep them for teach, but mostly murder them. So Kobe out here really slacking. He's slipping. You would think with a person who's been trained by Garp, his observation haki would be able to tell the intent of others. You would think. We've seen observation haki be used before to sense the intent of individuals. That's literally how Luffy was able to tell how to beat Katakuri and learn how to use his own future sight in the future. Because if your emotions are If your emotions are high and you don't have a calm disposition, observation haki may not be as effective. I just realized why Kobe is not able to tell. Because his emotions are running high right now, and he can't use observation haki to its best degree to tell what's going on at all times. Because this is a life or death situation, and his head is not completely clear. So now I know why he got fooled by that. Because he's not focused. It's one thing happening after the other. And Kobe is not calm in the head right now. It's literally a massive brawl in a life or death situation. And Kobe's mind has not quieted. It has not calmed down. It has not allowed him to fully process everything in a calm and reasonable person type manner. He hasn't been able to calm down. That explains it. That's why he's slacking. Because he ain't focused. Okay. I understand now. But, don't flatter yourself, Kobe. He was after me the entire time. Garp's weakened. Even we might be able to take him out now. And I'm just thinking to myself, and there's men and women going after Garp. Men and women pirates going after Garp. And I'm just like, you think you small pirates, just because Garp got stabbed, that's going to be enough to stop him and you're going to be able to kill him? Like the Blackbeard pirates thought that all they have to do is just tip over Whitebeard, and then he's so dead that you can just tip him over and he'll fall from you could just tip over Whitebeard. That's how dead he is. And Whitebeard stood there in front of him saying like, Teach, you're not the one that Roger's waiting on. Shocking everyone into his level of durability. This is Garp. The only individual that's capable of going against Roger on countless occasions. And you think a mere sword is just going to stop him? So yeah, I applaud how brazen these pirates think they are just because they see a person get injured, not knowing that an injured, super strong old dude is a dangerous, super strong old dude. Remember Yamamoto? He got his arm taken off because he used that Kido in order to kill Aizen, but it didn't work during the whole fake Katakura Town arc. And yet this man did not lose a single ounce of his strength when the 1,000-Year Blood War happened, and the only person that was able to take him down was Yua. But every other instance, this man did not lose a single ounce of his own strength. So if they think they're going to be able to take down Garp just because he got stabbed, and just because y'all bum rush him, y'all pretty much forgot how he just cratered the entire city y'all were in. How'd y'all forget that? Just saying, he can do it more than once. He's not on a cooldown right now. He doesn't need to use reverse curse technique to heal his burnt out curse techniques. This isn't jujutsu. He can use it whenever he wants. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here, but I'm just like, These are some very brazen Blackbeard pirates if they think this is going to stop the person who's literally the one-to-one rival of Roger at Roger's peak. Okay? At Roger's peak? Just saying. I'm just saying. Sorry, I go off on these tangents. It's just like, these are some very oblivious pirates if they think they're going to be able to bring down a Garp. Let's go. There's an entire fortune sitting right before our eyes. Take him down. Garp's got a 3-crown bounty, same as an admiral. That's worth about 3 billion berries. So, even though Garp is a vice admiral, because he's basically an instructor, but he keeps his status as a vice admiral to the public face and everyone else because that's how influential his name actually is. But for Garp to be in the position he is in the Navy, and they still give him the same bounty level as Ryokugyu, Fujitora, and Kizaru, that just speaks to how much of a threat he really is, even though Kobe is a much higher bounty than him because he's known as the hero of the Rocky Port incident and whatnot. Out of the way, you scrubs. He could have both arms and legs trussed up, and you still couldn't kill Garp. And this coming from Aokiji, this coming from Kuzan, who has trained with him his entire time he's been in the Navy, that's not just bravado. He's like, okay, this is how strong this man is. As a person who's trained with Garp the entire time, he knows how strong Garp is. Ice Glove. And then he uses a move called Ice Glove, which is essentially him turning his fist into ice and then coating it in armament hockey to double up on its already substantial hardness and power. And then we have a flashback when young Garp was talking to Kuzan. An apprentice, don't tread on my freedom. Learn from the Navy instructors. So Garp's entire mindset of being free and not held down by anybody, it's still so prevalent even here when he was a vice admiral. Because remember, the one reason why Garp didn't want to be an admiral and rise up the ranks is because he didn't want to be subservient to the Celestial Dragons. He can't stand them. He hates them. So, and it will also rob him of his freedom. That's kind of the mentality that I have towards certain things. I don't want to be bogged down by that because it infringes on my freedom to a certain degree. It's not on everything, but I do have that mentality for a couple of things. And this is how his mindset has been even when he was younger. Because being an admiral would rob him of his freedom, and for him to do whatever he wants, he would have to answer to the Celestial Dragons. He would have to be at their beck and call. So that's the reason why he never went up the ranks, because that's his freedom that's being stolen from him if he went up that rank. So even here, it's all like, I don't want an apprentice. An apprentice means I have to dedicate my time to them. And that means less freedom for me to do whatever I want. So even then, he had that mentality. I'm done with that. I'm ready for the next level. Take me on as an apprentice. Shut up! Buzz off! And then it cuts to Garp relenting and then training Kuzan, as even in his younger days, he was still putting massive dents into battleships. Like, you see him punching a battleship, and it leaves this gigantically tall dent in it. You better not use hockey. It won't help you learn. I can't even use that stuff yet. And at this time, Kuzan didn't even know how to use hockey. This just makes you more interested what the bounties are for Kainu, who is a fleet admiral, and Sengoku, who is a former fleet admiral. It should be interesting because so far, Kobe has the highest bounty for Navy individuals for the Cross Guild. He's ranked at 5 stars. So it'd be interesting to see where everyone else ranks. Maybe they would be 4 stars since they're so high up the ladder. Because admirals are given 3 stars, and Garp is given 3 stars. So I would say that 4 stars would probably be Fleet Admiral and former Fleet Admiral, Akainu and Sengoku. And then 5 stars, Kobe, obviously. But back then, they were training. Garp is bodying battleships. And day in, day out, they just keep training. But as the days go on, and I didn't notice this at the time, at the bottom of the panel, it's very small, but there's a detail where they're punching these battleships. And within each panel, you start to see the dent for the battleship where they're punching into it start to get higher and higher and longer, showing that progress is being made for the battleship bags. Now my grandson says he'll be a pirate. I won't stand for it. And he's, yelling at Kuzan. Why is that my problem? Kuzan, let's have a snack. I'm too busy. I'm an admiral now. Get us some tea. Ugh. You raised a formidable foe. Consider yourself expired, you dunce. And both of them hit each other with hockey-imbued attacks. Kuzan uses Ice Glove, and Garp just hits him straight in the face with a hockey-imbued punch. And the clash of hockey, not Conqueror's hockey, but the clash of hockey itself causes the entire area to be erupted. Because mind you, this puts into perspective the strength of Kuzan. He has strength comparable to Garp. That's how strong Kuzan has been this entire time. This is the moment where this chapter is where we see Kuzan's strength, like his truest strength. If he wanted to kill the entire Straw Hat crew when they first encountered him, he could have. He could have. The same way we were feeling like, wow, so Garp was holding back that entire time when he used Galaxy Impact, and we're like, wow, he's been this strong this whole time. Well, now, in this one, we see that Kuzan has been insanely strong this entire time. And it's only now that he's actually putting his back into it. So the clash of hockey just sends the entire area into a massive explosion, which launches both Kuzan and Garp back. Vice Admiral Garp! And then Pizarro's laughing, saying, your chances of escape are meager to none. You're on Pirate Island, where the stream of pirate never ends. The stream... That's a play on words to what Teach said during his first appearance. You're on Pirate Island, where the stream of pirates never ends. And the last time we heard a similar sentence was when Blackbeard says, the dream of pirates will never end. I'm just now noticing that. Where the stream of pirates never end, and the dreams of pirates never end. You think that ship off the shore is safe? Allow me to demonstrate the power of the Isle fruit. And then we see that Pizarro is able to basically turn the entire island into an extension of his body. Neil Johnson, member for 16 months. What a great month for One Piece. It truly is. We got 2 wonderful chapters of One Piece, and we got episode 1070, which is going to lead into one of the best moments. 3 crowns is more. 3 crowns is more than 5 stars, though. Wait, why am I thinking of stars? Why am I thinking of stars from Dressrosa? Why am I thinking of stars from Dressrosa? I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. Yep. Okay, due to his status as a hero, Cross Guild has assigned Kobe a 5-star bounty, which is worth 500 million. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. So is Kobe a special case? So Kobe is a special case. So some people get stars, other people get crowns. Bounty system is based on number of stars or crowns that Cross Guild has assigned to the individual Marine, with each star being equal to a treasure chest containing roughly 100 million berries worth of treasure, while 1 crown is equal to about 1 billion berries. Oh. I thought it was... Okay, I got mixed up there. My apologies. Stars, 100 million, crowns, 1 billion, right? Yeah. 1 crown is equal to about 1 billion, so Garp has the same Cross Guild bounty level as Luffy does as a Yonko. But Kobe, as a special case, has 5 stars, which makes him less than $500 million. $500 million in his bounty, and that's only because he was due to his reputation as a hero. All right, so this whole Cross Guild thing got me all jibberty-jabbered. I'm sorry. I'm curious if Cypher Pole agents or the Gorosei are given bounties even though they are not Marines. I feel like the only people that would probably have bounties are the people that the pirates could actually get to. Because ain't no way no regular pirate is making their way into Marijwa to assault the 5 elders. And ain't no way Cypherpole is going to be able to get their hands... There ain't no way they're going to be able to get their hands on Cypherpole, because Cypherpole is, Central Intelligence Agency / Assassins for a reason. So, it's not a matter if whether they have bounties or not, it's whether or not it's actually obtainable. Because you're not getting to the Gorosei that easily. And you're not getting to Cypherpole that easily. Cypherpole is the people that come after you, and you don't know it. So, yeah. This whole cross-guild thing had me confused, but now I know, to a degree. Stars are the ones that have 100 million, while crowns have the billions. All right, so stars, millions, crowns, billions. That's the difference right there. But going forward, Avalo is basically attempting to smash the ship where all the enslaved people and all the remaining people that came in with sword, they're all sailing away, with them going, open the newspaper and it's Blackbeard, and it's Blackbeard this, Blackbeard that. Well, we want to make a name for ourselves too, so here's a sneak peek at tomorrow's headlines. The great Vice Admiral Garp leads a team of promising elite troops in an attempted rescue of the naval hero Captain Kobe. But the dreaded powers of Avalo Pizarro, 4th ship captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, bring them to a tragic end at Pirate Island. And it's him extending his hands out as he prepares to smash the escape ship. Garp's personal ship, mind you. And everyone's freaking out. And Kobe still doesn't understand that these are pirates who don't care about their well-being. Says, no, you can't. Stop. There are civilians on board that ship. And honestly, sometimes Kobe really does get on my nerves. He really does get on my nerves on how he keeps thinking that just trying to talk no jutsu his way out of situations is going to work. This is not Naruto. These are not people who are all like, I had a rough childhood, but you saying you had a rough childhood allows me to resonate with you, so now I'm going to return all the souls of the entire Leaf Village. Sorry, wrong series. But that's not how that works. In One Piece, there are simply people who do not care if you live or die. And Kobe is still one of the more, and mind you, I commend him for thinking that this could actually work. I commend him for having that type of mindset of like, let's just talk this out. Let's stop all this. I commend him for thinking that it'll work. I'm not surprised that it doesn't, but I commend him anyway. But he doesn't get it. Like, these are some of the most notorious, these are some of the most notorious and most bloodthirsty and most pirate-like pirates in the entirety of One Piece. You are not just going to appeal to their better natures all like, oh, Captain Kobe said no, he's pleading. Oh no, there's civilians on board. Well, I might as well resend my attack then. That's not how that works. He doesn't, and I say again, that's just one thing that kind of irks me about Kobe, is I'm not asking for Kobe to be ruthless, but I need him to be realistic. You asking these pirates, I still think it's dumb that he tried this reasoning on the corrupt. His name is literally Avalo Pizarro, the corrupt king. You think you're gonna appeal to someone whose nickname is corrupt? That's the thing about Kobe. It's like, we need his type of, mentality when it comes to protecting people. But this man, and I'm not expecting him to adopt an absolute justice type of mentality against pirates, but he's got to realize that you got to make sure you put the lives of civilians, keep that in mind, but at the same time, show no mercy for those who are trying to kill those civilians. And not only that, but pretty much every other person who's on that guard ship, on Garp's flagship. It's this mentality of his is like, I want to be a Marine and bring in pirates and arrest Alvida, and Garp calls you the future of the Marines, but you out here pleading, out here asking a person who has the power to crush an entire ship in his hands, no, stop, there's civilians on board. I'm like, boy, if they cared about civilian lives, they wouldn't have them as slaves. They wouldn't have an entire section of their island where they keep their slaves. If they cared about civilian life, they wouldn't be enslaving civilians. I don't think Kobe gets it. He don't get it. I'm just saying. Kobe, you're strong. You're incredibly strong. We find out just how big of a scope his power is in the next chapter. But he's dense when it comes to the reality of a lot of things, especially when it comes, like, you are on the island of one of the most powerful pirates out there right now. His entire crew are all filled with devil fruit users and made up of people from the lowest levels of Impel down, with history so heinous and crimes so nefarious that their names have been wiped from history. But you want to try and appeal to their better nature? Did Garp teach you nothing? Just saying. But we end this chapter with Garp laying on his back after being, hit by Kuzan, going, "Don't panic, justice will prevail." And that's the end of that chapter. That's the end of that chapter. I know I went off on a full-on tangent talking about Kobe and all that, but he has to realize that you can't have this pacifist type mindset if you're working for an entire government group that is looking to protect the lives of innocent civilians and keep the world safe. You cannot be a pacifist in an occupation that requires you to be hands-on at a moment's notice. You simply cannot have that type of mentality in this. And here's my thing, his meekness as an individual, it's still very much present ever since his days of being with Alvida. Sure, he can take charge, but this is not one of them. You would think he would be more conscientious of how serious a situation this is. You can't be all like, "No, don't crush the civilians, don't do it, please, stop." No, they don't care. He doesn't realize that these pirates don't care. They literally want to kill him. See, and here's the thing. I like Kobe. He's a cool dude. His whole mentality, that's what the Marines need in order to truly be an organization that puts the lives of civilians above their own, and not the needs of the world government above the lives of civilians. We need someone like that in the Marines. But as he stands right now, I'm honestly wondering what Garp sees in him aside from strength that makes him say that Kobe is the future of the Marines. Because he's not displaying it right now at a very, very crucial moment. This is just me. But I feel like in this moment, he should be thinking a whole lot more clearly about the situation that he's in and what's expected of him. When you first read this chapter, your actual thoughts were, where's the Kobe that stood in front of a Kainu and Marineford? The same one that was bawling his eyes out, asking everyone to stop fighting, including people who were followers of absolute justice, after he is already seeing a Kainu murder a fellow Marine because a Marine wanted to be able to live to see another day and return to his family, and a Kainu just straight up killed him. That's the same Kobe that's still crying out here like, "No, stop, please, there are civilians on board," not fully realizing that these are people who don't care. This is, again, another situation where he does it. Because the first time was back in Marineford, where he was pleading, "Everyone stop this, everyone's dying, we don't need to do all this stuff." Not really paying attention to the fact that the many people there only see pirates as scum of the earth, they should all die, and Akainu is literally making a beeline to kill anyone that gets in his way of killing Ace or Luffy. But Kobe wants to appeal to everyone's better natures. This is another instance where Kobe's all like, "Please, we can talk this out. We don't need to do this. This is unnecessary bloodshed." And had it not been for the intervention of other people, Kobe would be dead. But the difference is, in this one instance in the next chapter, which we will get to now, The next instance is actually Kobe doing something about the matter. But I'll talk about a little bit more of that in a minute. So, that was the end of chapter 1087. We got a brand new one titled 1088, Final Lesson. So we are here in former Navy HQ, before everything went down with Marineford and everything, and before Kobe got his growth spurt. He was still cabin boy Kobe with his hair all down to the sides and his big old glasses and his round old face. Lesson 1. An old man and a baby have been left behind on an island of ravenous beasts. You're on a rowboat that can only hold 2. What do? I get off the boat so both of them can make it. Wrong, you nincompoop! What? Leave the old man. He's halfway dead anyway. Vice Admiral Garp, you can't say that. What did you join the Navy? What did you join the Navy to save? Think! It's people's futures, obviously, and you have a longer future than some old man. Take the baby and make the most of all those years. And then it shows Garp getting reprimanded by this other instructor. Now, the most important thing to take away from this lesson from Garp back in the day is that this is something that affected even Kuzan. Leave the old man. He's halfway dead anyway. What did you think? It's people's futures, obviously. What did you think to save joining the Navy? It's people's futures, obviously, and you have a longer future than some old man. Take the baby and make the most of all those years. So, the reason why I bring up Kuzan is that he really did take these lessons to heart, because remember the last time Kuzan saved somebody? Way back when? You all know the moment. We all know. Remember when Kuzan decided to save a young child by taking down an older individual who were both trying to escape? An old man and a baby. An old man and a baby have been left behind on an island of ravenous beasts. Or in other cases, an old man and a young child are left behind on an island that's up in fire because of a buster call. You are on a rowboat that can only hold 2. What do? You have a rowboat ready for this person to escape the island. Leave the old man, he's halfway dead anyway. Just an example, Kuzan's freezing an individual so that a younger child can get away. This seems like we've seen this instant done before. It's people's futures, obviously, and you have a longer future than some old man. Take the baby and make the most of all those years. I'm just saying. Didn't even notice the panel of Kuzan? Yeah, he's in there looking at Garp. He's in there looking at Garp getting reprimanded. He's just in there chilling like, da-da-da-da. He's just in there chilling, no pun intended, watching Garp get reprimanded for the lesson that he taught. But yeah, Kuzan truly did take this lesson to heart when he saved Robin during the buster call of Ohara. He did exactly what Garp taught. Leave the old man and take the child. The old man's dead anyway. Frees his Jaguar D Saul with ice time capsule, but allows Robin to escape. That's him enacting Garp's lesson in its entirety, even back then. Weeks earlier, Amazon Lily, and we have Blackbeard speaking, and this is Amazon Lily on the outskirts of Amazon Lily as Kobe basically turns himself in. Vice Admiral, how can we sit by while our people are held captive? They're not giving us clearance to go. He's an emperor of the sea after all. Save us! Who knows what'll happen to us at Pirate Island? Well, if it ain't Kobe the hero, what's this about? All-out war, maybe? I'm up for a scrap if you are. Captain Kobe. He's in sword. And they want to help, but they can't because he's basically a rogue marine. Would you be willing to trade that battleship and the 800 sailors on board for me as a captive? Captain Kobe, you can't! Zah! You've set a high price for yourself, lad. And then back in the present day, Pirate Island full of lead, as Avalo is preparing to crush everybody, everyone is screaming for their lives. The cannons do nothing! It won't even flinch! We can't evade it! Prepare to abandon ship. Get everyone below deck up here. Protect the civilians. Yes, ma'am. What an overwhelming power. On Pirate Island, if that huge hand comes down, it could crush hundreds of sailors and civilians at once. What should we do, Vice Admiral Garp? You boys can save him, huh? Listen close. I'll give you an opportunity. Captain Kobe, you destroy the hand of that island monster. What? But it's too big. Rear Admiral Gruss, protect the ship from the falling debris. Lieutenant Commander Helmeppo, make sure these two aren't interfered with. Be decisive. Snap judgment. Now fly! And they all go, yes, sir! And they just disappear, which is a very cool moment. You would have felt better about Kobe if he didn't volunteer to get captured. It's like he didn't understand Garp's lesson since he's so young. Yeah, he's young. He's very impressionable, but at the same time, he really doesn't think everything through. He just thinks the most diplomatic way of doing things rather than the grand scope of it all. That's just how I feel of it. Like, he's just trading himself over for 800 sailors and civilians. So no, he didn't take that lesson completely into account. He didn't, because mentally, I don't even think he's that type of individual to actually pay attention to that type of advice. Garp is far more pragmatic, and he's far more gruff with his way of dealing with things, versus Kobe, who's, I wouldn't say dainty, but he's a lot less heavy-handed than Garp. He's light-handed when it comes to his decision-making, which means that he's willing to offer himself up as a captive regardless of the person, even if it goes against the teachings of Garp and why it matters and how important it is. He's going to be that individual who puts himself up to be captured and held hostage, even if it isn't the best thought logically. To him, it's probably the most morally appealing and the one that resonates with him the most. Morally, what is it? Morally resonating. Resonative. Morally resonative. I don't know if that's a term. I'm making it up. I feel bad for Helmeppo. He was trained by Garp, yet he feels like a fourth wheel here. Well, that's because Helmeppo doesn't have that same level of determination to match up to where Kobe was. His entire life, he was coaxing on the whole lifestyle of being, do you know who my father is? My father is Axe-Hand Morgan. Don't make me tell my father on you. And mind you, he's much stronger than he was back then, but not enough to where he actually puts in that extra effort. He'll do the work in public, but he'll just stop once it's done. Kobe is that, well, we find out in this chapter. Let's keep going. But they all go do their jobs as the pirates get their way and make their way towards, Gruss, Helmeppo, and Kobe. Look out, Kobe's on the move! What can they do without Garp? Hero, you're just a boy! You'll be feeding the fishes tonight. Destroy it. Do you have bombs or something, Kobe? No, I don't, but... And the hand gets closer and closer and closer. Hands get closer and closer and closer to the ship. I'll just have to make do. Make do. It's a hand big enough to crush a battleship. There's no escape for you, Kobe. Here it comes! As Helmeppo jumps in the air in order to catch a cannonball to keep from hitting him, and the whole area just explodes with Helmeppo inside. Helmeppo! Don't turn back, Kobe. You see? I told you, he's not focused. He's not focused. Garp just gave him a job to do, and he's always worrying about everyone else except for the job at hand. He's not focused. And then Kuzan gets back up as he faces down Garp. Where are you going, Garp? With those wounds? You mean scratches? I'm saying it out of concern. And then Garp blitzes him, not only him, but basically every other pirate that's in front of him. Whoa! You're soft! And he blitzes Kuzan, much to Kuzan's surprise. And I think this is the first time we see Kuzan's eyes without his shades on. It's been a while since we've seen him without his shades on, because he's always wearing them. But his shades ain't on right now. And he blitzes Kuzan, bodies him, and then runs past him and towards other pirates, and he starts zigzagging. He literally starts Yatano Kagami in a full-on zigzag motion, bounces between buildings as he launches towards Avalo and hits Avalo with Galaxy Divide, which is essentially just like Galaxy Impact, but it has the ability to split things down the middle. A punch that can literally pierce through things and cut things. That's scary. I said this during my reaction, but it's scary for a person to be able to punch, not only punch with conquerors and then cause a massive explosion that can blow up an entire city, but it also has cutting power. And it splits the entire face of Avalo's mountain face, and also sends Avalo's real body reeling, and it's bleeding. So this is yet another type of devil fruit that can affect the main body of the user if damage is done to the island body. And like I said during my initial reaction of this chapter, this basically behaves the same way. This basically has the same drawbacks as Robin's flower fruit. Any damage done to her limbs that are sprouted out gets reciprocated onto her. Any damage that's done to Avalo's island body gets reciprocated onto him. So this is yet another devil fruit ability that has the same drawback as the Hana no Mi. But he hits Avalo directly in the face with Galaxy Divide, splits the face. And then we have Kobe at Grus continuing on. That was it! Our opportunity! His arms raised! What now, Kobe? And Kobe goes, I'll live up to expectations. And he starts using Shave and Skywalk to start, moving rapidly through the air. And then we get a thought process. We get the thoughts of Garp as he goes, Hey, Helmeppo, Kobe learns fast, but he's always hurt. I see those bandages on his hands. And we see Kobe flying through the air. Hey, look, there's Kobe. Does he think he's gonna stop that hand? Yeah, I guess being called a hero went to his dumb little head. Oh, Kobe's injuries? You see them on his hands and shoulders? Well, he told me to keep this a secret so you didn't hear it from me. Huh? The truth is, I have less natural strength at fighting than other people, so 10 times the effort isn't enough. It needs to be 100 or 200. And this is also another moment where we see, this is back when Helmeppo still had that curved over hairstyle. That same one, he still had that same hairstyle before his hair actually got long. So this is when Kobe was still small, he didn't have a growth spurt, and he had that little pink haircut, bowl cut that he had. This was back when Kobe was still small, before he got his growth spurt. This is the mentality and training he went through during that time. Kobe does something awesome. Grus saves people. Helmeppo gets hit by a bomb. Again, I feel bad for Helmeppo. Yeah, Helmeppo really isn't having the best of luck standing out as a Marine that is capable of standing right next to Kobe. Because anytime we see Helmeppo, he's either... Ow, something went in my eye. It feels like something flew in my eye. What was that? That was weird. Felt like something poked it all of a sudden. I'm good. Anytime Helmeppo's around Kobe, it always seems like he's either there to be, he's basically the wingman, but like a third wheel wingman, even if it's just Kobe and Helmeppo around. But he truly is a third wheel in this because he's not having a whole bunch of moments where he gets to show that there's a reason why he's right next to right next to Kobe. Because Helmeppo's really just next to Kobe because they both went into training alongside Garp. And Helmeppo has just been with Kobe ever since, but he's never had a truly standout moment. He's basically the Jack of the Navy. And Kobe's basically like the king of the Navy. The king of Garp's group. Because Jack didn't have a lot of standout moments either during Wano, and Helmeppo really isn't having a whole bunch of standout moments even now. He's had appearances, but never any moment to say like, wow, now I see why Helmeppo is right there with Kobe, because we really haven't seen it. Sure, we've seen him use his kukuris and stuff, and he's able to use the same Rokushiki techniques and everything, but nothing to a degree that makes you say, this is a person trained by Garp. That's the crazy thing. They're both trained by Garp, but you can't tell with Helmeppo. He just learns, he just looks like from what we've seen of him, he's just learned the basic number of things that any other Marine high up on the ladder would know. But Kobe is the one who's actually showing some actual progress to training with Garp. I can tell that Kobe's been trained by Garp. I can't tell with Helmeppo. That's sad. But going through this, So 10 times the effort isn't enough. It needs to be 100 or 200. I need more practice. If I don't put in the work, I can't be a great sailor who keeps good people safe. And this is Kobe when he was training at a very young age. Unbelievable. He does this after training with me? Yes, every single night. Ow, give it a rest, Kobe. His punches and his fists, he punches his fist bloody against the battleship bags. But it shows here in this panel that Kobe was already, at the time, leaving dents in the battleship itself. He was already leaving dents in it because you see like a small dent from where Kobe was punching at the bottom of one of these battleships. It's already a big sizable dent. And he's been doing that every night after Garp's harsh, grueling training. He's been training himself after. Now, mind you, there's a whole bunch of days. 300 and, what is it? 300 and, dang it, I forgot how many. 365 days in a year. I forget how many days are in a year. 365. He still haven't forgotten Amazon Lily where he was turned to stone. He truly feels like the Yamcha of the Marines. He really is! He really is! Jack, he hasn't been in the past 2 openings. Of course he hasn't been in the past 2 openings. Jack ain't done Jack! Jack ain't done Jack! But Kobe's been training himself this entire time. All these years, especially during the time skip, the 2 years that the Straw Hats were absent, he's still been training. And as Garp is smiling, we see Kobe launching in front of the fist of Avalo. Look at the size of that ant next to the hand. You can't, Kobe, it's too dangerous. Nah, just watch as your ship is sunk and your fellow sailors scream and die. If you try to flee to open water, Aokiji will freeze you. And as Kobe gets closer and closer, his arm imbues with haki as he screams, as he's thinking, destroy it or they'll die. People will die because of me. Honesty, impact! And he punches. Just like what Garp would do. Now, mind you, it isn't imbued with conquerors. It's just very, very advanced armament haki. But his punch, it's not just a singular punch that explodes the entire hand. It shoots a shockwave type beam straight through Avalo's hand, which, as I've already mentioned, goes straight through his hand and affects Avalo's main body, shocking every single pirate there. That they were talking to scam. 365, you're right. Thank you. Okay, I was right. Because I think I said 356, but it was 365. But Kobe shows all these pirates who say, like, you're not a hero, you're just a boy. This boy destroyed the arm of a man who could manipulate an entire island with one punch. So, if I go down to Kobe, and I go down to his abilities and powers, in his first appearance, Kobe lacked any fighting skills, let alone even above average physical prowess. According to Alvida, the only reason she kept him around was because he happened to be good at navigation. He gained some fighting skills after he trained under the Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp alongside Helmeppo, learning the Rokushiki, surprising Luffy and Zoro from the amount of growth he had undergone. After the 2-year time skip, Kobe reached the rank of captain, granting him command over lower-ranked Marines in charge of his own ship. In addition to this, at some point he became a member of the Covert Marine Squadron Sword, who are granted enough free reign to take on missions normal Marines could not, including challenging any of the 4 emperors. At some point he became regarded as a hero because of the Rocky Port incident, somehow assisting the Emperor Blackbeard in defeating Ochoku, a former member of the Rocks Pirates and a famous pirate comparable to Shiki and Captain John. During the Marines' invasion of Amazon Lily to arrest the former warlord Boa Hancock, Kobe was one of the few people to not get petrified by her powers, a notable feat as Yamakaji, Katarina Devon, Vasco Shot, Vice Admiral, and 2 of the Blackbeard Pirates' Titanic captains were among the Marines and pirates to be petrified. After the Cross Guild placed bounties on Marines, he was 500 million, most notable as most Marine captains are worth 100 million. He has some knowledge of swordsmanship as he was seen practicing with Helmeppo and Bogart. Due to his harsh training regimen under Garp, Kobe has developed a high physical prowess, such as strength, and speed, capable of pulling off one of the Rokushiki techniques, Soru, momentarily surprising and kicking Luffy before he could react, as well as avoiding his punch. As with his mentor and Kuzan, he would often use retired battleships as punching bags, often doing so every night after finishing training with Garp, all while not using haki to build up punching power, where at some point, like those renowned Marines, he'd become capable of caving in the armored hulls. After the 2-year time skip in mastering Rokushiki, Kobe displays impressive physical prowess, showing himself to be an excellent swimmer, catching up, and then redirecting a torpedo barehanded within seconds. Most notably, he has proved himself to be strong and durable enough to be the last Marine standing up against the former warlord Bor Hancock and the Emperor Marshal D. Teach, having also been involved in somehow aiding the Emperor defeat former Rocks pirates Ochoku. While on Hachinosu, despite still being chained to an iron ball and still recovering from the previous battle on Amazon Lily, Kobe could free the captured people and escape from numerous pirates attacking him. A testament to his developing punching power, note that it says developing, because he hasn't reached his peak yet, to his developing punching power, a haki-enhanced punch was powerful enough to break apart Avalo Pizarro's island hand, a feat comparable to that of his mentor. So, basically, Honesty Impact is Kobe imbues his fists with armament haki before delivering a massively powerful punch with shockwaves that project forward. This was first seen being used to destroy Avalo Pizarro's island hand. So that is the strength of his haki right now. And that's Kobe's strength right now. One Piece this month has been great for the manga chapters this month, and the anime where we start the month with the defeat of Big Mom and end with 1070. August! Tomorrow starts August, alright? August is a brand new month for One Piece. August is when we, and I think it was either DJ or someone else who told me that we were going to be getting a new opening for the One Piece anime with the next episode. A new anime, a new opening, and a new ending song for One Piece as well. So, you know, this upcoming Saturday is going to be something else. But Kobe destroys Avalo's hand with Honesty Impact, which also injures Avalo as well as he's screaming out in pain. And everyone is shocked to see just how strong Kobe is. Because all this time, everyone has been dismissing Kobe. They know he's strong, but they don't know just how strong. But this is a moment where Kobe showcases just how far his training has actually gone. And it's gone far beyond anything I honestly could have thought. And everyone is cheering for him. Kobe is, mind you, he has his eyes closed. He has his eyes closed this whole time. It's like Momonosuke flying in the air, but he's got his eyes closed. His eyes are closed after he did this Galaxy Impact. Because I feel like he didn't want to look just in case it failed. I guess he just closed his eyes and hoped for the best. Because it shows him with his eyes closed after doing the punch. And Garp is just laughing his behind off, seeing that his student basically just did what would seem impossible. And Helmeppo is surprised, and Helmeppo is clearly fine because he launches towards Kobe and grabs onto him while Prince Gruss uses Glorp Web to keep the rubble from hitting the ship. And they all make it onto the ship safely. Kobe, that was amazing, you did it! Helmeppo, yeah, I did. You split that huge mountain of an arm! And they all sail away as the rubble of Avalo's destroyed island hand falls right behind them. Thanks, Prince, you saved us! And once Vice Admiral Garp is on board, we're in the clear. The moment they said that, I was like, oh no, they really are setting this up. They really are setting this up where Garp doesn't go with them. Thank you, Kobe. Kobe! You alright, buddy? Captain Kobe. Thank you, Captain. This is Garp. The mission to rescue Captain Kobe is complete. That's right. Now come back quickly, Vice Admiral. See, another instance where it just shows like, Get away from the island, full speed. Huh? I'll manage on my own. Your safety is a top priority here. Isn't that right? Prince, turn the ship around. One day, what happened here will be a major threat to all pirates. Keep moving forward. All of you are the future of the Navy. So, now Prince Gruss can't say that only Kobe is the future of the Navy. Because Garp says, you're all the future of the Navy. So now he can get that sort of jealousy out of his mind now. That thought didn't pop in my head until just now. But it shows that Garp has been impaled on a large ice spike by Kuzan as he's being surrounded by the rest of the Blackbeard pirates and all the other pirates who are there on the island. And Avalo's face is, still cracked. San Juan Wolf is out of the water and he's glaring down at Garp. We got Kuzan, Shiryu, and Vasco Shot who have all surrounded Garp. And we got Kuzan, who's apparently frozen over all of Garp's limbs so that he can't actually move. And Garp is just laughing his head off. And one thing, and I saw this from Artur from the Library of Ohara account, he basically made a note that it kind of looks like Kuzan could possibly be crying while he's in this frozen state on his face, but it's frozen. Like, this is his former mentor. This is not an easy thing for him to do. But the last thing we see of Garp in this series for the moment is him just laughing his head off. This is literally something that Roger would do. This is literally something that Roger would do. In the face of imminent danger, all Garp can do is laugh. Garp and Roger are so alike in so many ways that they didn't actually want to admit it. But Roger was more okay with it. August is going to be the month of One Piece. I can feel it just because I bet the manga is going to pop off in August too. Look, we're already here at the final page, which I want to talk about. The next day's headline spoke of the safe return of the Navy's young hero, Captain Kobe, the disappearance on Pirate Island of the legendary hero, Vice Admiral Garp, and even from a distance, you can see the charred, messed up, jacked up remains of the fight that happened on Hachinosu. So Blackbeard's going to have some questions. And the incident in which Straw Hat Luffy, Emperor of the Sea, barricaded himself within future Island Egghead. There's something about seeing Straw Hat Luffy, Emperor of the Sea. Straw Hat Luffy, the Yonko. That's like crazy to me that we're in this day and age where Luffy has reached another new level of notoriety and fame. He went from being this young rookie to this young up-and-coming rookie to being a member of the worst generation, to being an individual that did what no one thought would be possible, or no one thought to do, such as punching a celestial dragon, breaking into Empel Down, assaulting everyone at the Battle of Marineford, mainly just the naval forces, to rescue his brother, and then to come back even stronger and defeat all these other numerous pirates where his bounty kept going up, and then doing the literal impossible, at least to the world, defeating Kaido, and then becoming a Yonko himself. There's only one more stage for Luffy to reach after all of this is said and done, and I know it's going to be a while before we reach there, but just seeing how far Luffy has come since the beginning of the series. Now, reading One Piece from Volume 1 all the way to where I'm currently at right now, which tomorrow's volume will be Volume 73, but reading how far Luffy has come, all the fights he's been into, all the situations he's been into, literally still fresh in my mind, reading through every volume and every major incident Luffy has been a part of. For him, and then reading these newer chapters that are releasing, and seeing Luffy get to a point where he is at the top when it comes to most powerful pirates out there, it's crazy to see just how far Luffy has come as a character, strength-wise, and progress towards him becoming king of the pirates. So much progress has been made over the past 20-something odd years. And it's fantastic for me to just see that it's official. Straw Hat Luffy, Emperor of the Sea. That's amazing to me. To live and see these moments happen. It's so cool. Because going into this series, I honestly wondered, how long is this story going to go? I really hope I live to see these days when these moments happen, and I'm here. today, able to enjoy this whole thing. It's amazing. This story is amazing, and I'm glad that I've been following it. It seems Kuzan and Shiryu are going to be fighting Zoro and Sanji in the future. Kuzan's a brother, and Zoro has a reputation. You know what? That's actually kind of funny. Whenever Zoro's fighting a big wig, it's usually always some dark-skinned person. Usually. Not all the time, but usually. You got Mr. One. You have Pika, because he's got like a skin tone to him too. You got King, because King's definitely a brother. He's definitely a brother. Zoro really has that reputation, don't he? But yeah, the next day's headline spoke of the safe return of the Navy's young hero Captain Kobe, the disappearance on Pirate Island of the legendary hero Vice Admiral Garp, and the incident in which Straw Hat Luffy, Emperor of the Sea, barricaded himself within future island Egghead. And as this narration's being said, all the Navy battleships, both large and small, including ones that you would normally see for a buster call, they're already within range of Egghead itself. They're already within range. So here's my thing. That buff lady is it Miss Monday? I forgot her name. Yeah, it's Miss Monday. Because she has a child with Mr. 9, I believe. Hold on. Ms. Monday. Yep, that's Miss Monday. Yeah, that's Miss Monday. Yeah. Wow, he really does have a reputation, doesn't he? He really does have a reputation. But one thing I want, and that's the end of all the chapters that we got in July, both chapters 1087 and 1088. What I want to note here is that all this fighting is done. Garp's status is currently unknown because it says disappearance on Pirate Island of the legendary hero Vice Admiral Garp. Garp's status is currently unknown, but I'm just wondering how Blackbeard is going to feel, because last time we checked, Blackbeard's getting big W's since he's got Garp. Now Tekking has a theory that Saturn dies and Katarina returns to Marijois and acts as a Gorosei. That's one of Kyushu's girls. Who is? Miss Monday? Miss Monday? Not really. I took way too long to answer. I'm sorry. But let me go here. Chapter. All right, because I want to go down here to the major notes. So, part of Kobe's training is shown. He, Helmeppo, and Prince Gruss sat in lectures taught by Garp. Kobe has secretly trained further by punching a decommissioned warship. Circumstances behind Kobe's kidnapping on Amazon Lily are shown. It is revealed that Kobe traded himself for 800 Marine soldiers and a battleship that Blackbeard intended to take hostage. Battle on Hachinosu is resolved. Four Marines on Hachinosu stopped Avalo's attack. Garp attacked Pizarro's manifested face. It is shown damage is transferred to the Shimashima no Mi user's body. Kobe destroyed the giant stone hand. Prince Gruss caught the rubble with a net made of clay. And Helmeppo protected Kobe and Gruss from the pirate attacks. Kobe, Helmeppo, and Gruss made it back to Garp's ship, which successfully escaped Hachinosu. Garp stayed on Hachinosu and was stabbed through the chest by Kuzan while being surrounded by the Blackbeard pirates. San Juan Wolf is back on land. The result of the battle has declared Garp missing in action, and the scene then returns to Egghead, which is surrounded by several ships. So, the things, girls that could carry you across the threshold during the honeymoon. Oh no. Maybe not Marijois, but definitely giving commands to the Navy or something while disguised as Saturn. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. That's very interesting because Katarina Devon has a very dangerous devil fruit type power, which allows her to mimic the appearance of basically anyone. And unlike the clone fruit of Bon Clay, it allows her to basically mimic anyone without actually having to physically touch them. Because she's a mythical Zoan type that allows her to transform into anyone. So not only can she access the supernatural abilities of this mythical Zoan type, but she can basically turn into that Zoan type as well. So she's like, a lot more mythical Zoans have been making their appearance in this series ever since the events of, Wano. I mean, not like the rare instances where they showed up from time to time. Like, I want to say the first time we've seen like a mythical Zoan type was Marco and Sengoku. We haven't seen too many mythical Zoan types since then, but they become more prevalent ever since the events of Wano, and then Gear 5 Luffy, and then finding out what Luffy's Gum powers actually are, all that, and then seeing Katarina Devon being basically a Kitsune, and getting access to powers like that. It's like we're seeing so many more mythical Zoan types out here than we've ever seen before, especially within close proximity to one another. So it's kind of interesting. But her power is incredibly dangerous because she could easily infiltrate an area and no one would ever know. And unlike a Bon Clay who has to change clothes in order to match the person he's trying to impersonate, Katarina can basically, like Mystique from X-Men, basically just change her entire appearance. Marco, Sengoku, Katarina, Devon, Yamato, Kaido, Luffy, and Stronger, I think. Is Stronger a mythical type? Wait, he is, because he's a Pegasus. He's basically a Pegasus, and that's a mythological creature. Hold on. Let me just double check here. I know you're right, but I just want to double check for my own sanity. I'm not questioning you, but you are right. Uma no Mi Pegasus model. Yes, you're right. Stronger. So yeah, there's only been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 mythical Zoan type users. And if I go over to it, it's crazy how many more have shown up ever since this point. Mythical Zoan. Oh, we forgot Orochi. But since he's and Onimaru. But since Orochi's dead, the Yamata no Orochi, the Hebi no Mi model Yamata no Orochi is now back in circulation. So we have 9 mythical Zoans that have been shown in canon. Hito no Mi model Nika, eaten by Monkey D. Luffy. Tori no Mi model Phoenix, eaten by Marco. Hito no Mi model Daibutsu, eaten by Sengoku. Uo no Mi model Seiryu, eaten by Kaido. Inu no Mi model Kyuubi no Kitsune, eaten by Katarina Devon. Hebi no Mi model Yamata no Orochi, eaten by Kurozumi Orochi, but he did, so now it's back out there. Hito no Mi model Onyudo, eaten by Onimaru. Inu no Mi model Okuchi no Makami, eaten by Yamato. And then the Uma no Mi model Pegasus, eaten by Stronger. And there's one artificial mythical Zoan fruit that's out there, and that's the one that was eaten by Momonosuke. And then, of course, there are some unofficial ones, like non-canon ones. One eaten by Pato, one eaten by Patrick Redfield, and then one eaten by Torasugu, in other different types of medias as well. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, don't forget about the White Fox. Yeah, that's Onimaru, who's able to turn into an Onyudo. Gyukimaru. So we've seen a lot more mythical Zoan types appear in the series now than ever before. And I just find it so unique. Like, if I go right here, mythical Zoans, because I feel like mythical Zoan type Devil Fruit users are incredibly cool. Like, sure, we got Logius. You can turn into an element. Awesome. You can get so powerful that you can literally change the entire landscape of an entire island and split it down the middle, like with Punk Hazard, icy side, lava, burning hellscape side because of Aokiji and Akainu. But mythical Zoans are incredibly cool to me. And I'll get to what I was going to say about this last chapter concerning Luffy being on Egghead. Well, actually, let me say this and then I'll talk about mythical Zoans afterwards. Luffy apparently being barricaded in Future Island Egghead as these Navy ships get closer and closer. An altercation is all but inevitable. There's no way you're telling me that Luffy and his crew, and it says he's barricaded in there, which means that they have no active way to get out quickly. But an altercation is all but assured. You can't tell me that we're going to have a situation where Kizaru is accompanying one member of the Gorosei, and he's not at some point going to clash with the Straw Hat crew after 2 years. This is the last admiral they saw before they were all separated by Kuma. They were literally about to be killed, like Zoro was about to be killed by Kizaru the last time they saw an admiral. The last time they saw an admiral before they all got separated. He was preparing to kill Zoro, and every one of the Straw Hat crew was there about to see Zoro get killed had it not been for Rayleigh and had it not been for Kuma. So you can't tell me that there's not going to be like a sort of a rematch of any kind, or at least an interaction between Kizaru and the Straw Hat crew after 2 years. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because we are done. I feel like we are done with Hachinosu right now. Now, I'm just wondering, how's Teach going to feel when because like I said, and I know I broke off from this, didn't notice it before, but on chapters 1079, there's an explosion before we cut to Shanks. And is this something to do with Egghead back then? Hold on, let me check this out. 1079. I love how Viz keeps my place from the last page I look at. Um, 1079. I'm looking at it. Oh yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. It's a small kaboom. It's very easy to miss. It's very easy to miss. It's on the page. It's on the panel where it says, "Hurry, onto the ship." And this is Sentomaru, who's looking up because apparently something exploded. Apparently, something exploded up on the upper half of Egghead. And Sentomaru's actually looking up at it. But we don't see anything further from that, because the last we see of Egghead for a very long time, up until the most recent chapter, is one of the ships of the Blackbeard pirates getting closer and closer. Now, that's also another thing. The Blackbeard pirates are making their way towards Egghead at the same time the Navy is. So not only are we going to have to deal with J. Garcia Saturn and Kizaru and basically over 100 ships worthy of a massive island-wide devastation buster call unit, but we also got members of Blackbeard's crew sailing towards Egghead as well. Not to mention, we have the Seraphim on the inside trying to murder everyone just so York can become a celestial dragon, which I highly doubt is going to happen because the world government doesn't see anyone as celestial dragons unless they're people who are already born as celestial dragons. So I don't think things are going to work out that well for her. And I feel it's going to be made abundantly clear when J. Garcia Saturn shows up. Marvin the Martian? A small kaboom? Impossible! But yeah, it's a very blink and you'll miss it moment. And that's when we cut to Shanks, and that's when Shanks basically bodies Kid and Killer and knocks out everyone around Killer with Conqueror's Haki and defeats him with Divine Departure! The English dub of Divine Departure in the anime is fantastic. I'm so glad they kept the original voice actor for Roger for the Funimation dub of One Piece for that, because he sounds so pirate-like, it's absolutely amazing. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he's a fantastic dub actor for Roger. But one of the things I'm thinking about is, like, how's Blackbeard going to feel when he come back home and everything's ransacked, everything's destroyed? Like, sure, he's going to... I'm just assuming he's going to have Garp, but at the same time, I'm wondering, how is he going to feel seeing that his entire home that was pretty all right when he left it? It's probably still had plenty of buildings sitting in the town square. His big giant skull mountain home. It didn't have a giant dent in the middle. It didn't have a giant crack in the middle. There wasn't bodies of pirates laying around, some on fire, some that got demolished or whatever. You don't have different buildings, because remember, I don't think Kujaku reset the buildings when she whipped them into shape with her whip fruit. I'm pretty sure he's going to find some buildings in places where buildings should not be at all. His whole home is in shambles. Literally, shambles. Literal shambles. So I'm wondering how he's going to feel when he come back home and sees his entire home just basically devastated. If he gives Garp to the Cross Guild, he'll spend the 3 billion berries probably repairing Hachinosu. Your question is, where's Perona and Moria? We didn't see them this chapter either. We haven't seen them ever since the first appearance of Blackbeard in the time skip. That's how long we haven't seen Moria. Moria was there looking for Absalom, finds out Absalom's dead after getting stabbed by Shiryu, and then Blackbeard's all like, you want to sail with me? Do you like parties, Moria? That's the last time we saw Moria. We haven't really seen Perona either. Because I don't think we've seen Perona until, like, when Mihawk told her it's probably best if you leave, the Monkey Kingdom. Because the Navy was coming for Mihawk. But we haven't seen Moria ever since Blackbeard's first time skip introduction, like his full-fledged appearance. We haven't seen Moria since then. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but we haven't seen him. All right, Perona Free Kobe. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we saw Perona and Moria in chapter 925 and saw Perona again in 1080. Random impression requests, Rain and Noob Saibot from Mortal Kombat 11. Death is not the end for you. The shadows betray you. She's on Beehive. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot about Perona being there. She's the one who freed Kobe. Sorry. There's just so many things that go through my head throughout a full day, let alone a whole week. So some of these things do escape me. I do apologize. But I can't wait to see how Blackbeard behaves when he gets back. But I also kind of want to find out how the narration got to the conclusion that Luffy basically barricaded himself within Egghead. And how this is all going to go about. Here's the thing. We are on Egghead now. But I'm just thinking, at some point, Egghead is going to end. Where do we head after this? What insanity awaits us after Egghead is done? And I know it's too soon. She's here because Moria has been imprisoned for refusing to join Blackbeard, which prompts to Moria, by the way, for a slothful person. That's good development. Yeah, he doesn't want to work for anyone else. He believes in letting everyone work for him, but he's not the type to be a subordinate for anyone. And we have Miasgard being executed while Kuma's climbing the Red Wall. Late to the party! Good to see you, Ozzy! We got done talking about the 2 chapters, and I was going to go down the route of, Mythical Zoans, because Mythical Zoans have been on my mind a lot recently, and I just thought that they were cool overall. But I feel like it's too soon for me to be talking about, like, where do we go after Egghead when Egghead clearly is not finished as an arc. So hopefully the next chapter we get will have us go deeper into Egghead and what's actually going on, because we've been away from Egghead for a hot minute. We've been away from Egghead for a long time. If I go to chapter 1080, that is the Hero of Legend. Yeah, we started spending a lot of time. We started spending a lot of time with Garp and his crew from 10,080. 10,080 onwards, because at the end of 10,081, that's when Law and his crew get bodied by Blackbeard and his crew. And that's just another instance of Oda wiping them people off the map. And if you pay attention to the last panel in 10,080, what, not 10,000, good God, 10,000 chapters of One Piece, I'm sorry, 1,070, look at Kuzan's face and you will see the traces of tears on his face. I've already made note of that. You could see us either taking Vegapunk to Elbaf or Kamabaka. I mean, with the world government wanting to kill Vegapunk, there's no reason for Vegapunk to stay tied to the world government and say, like, I'm not going to join your revolutionary army. The world government is not the evil ones here. Or whatever. He no longer has a reason to have that type of mentality when he refused Dragon's offer the first time. So if they go to any other places, Kamabaka might be the more welcoming of places for Vegapunk to go right now. You're bad, wrong chapter. Don't worry. You're fine. But I know what you mean. Ozzy. It was a 10,000. It was a 1088. It was chapter 10,000. Oh. Why do I keep saying 10,000? It's because I'm trying to say 1088, but the 1,000 of 1,088 is in my mind at the same time. My bad. But that was chapter 1088. That's when Kuzan was looking down at Garp. And I got that from Artur from the Library of Ohada. He made note of that, and I was like, wow, he could actually be crying and no one would be knowing, because this is his mentor, the person who taught him how to be as strong as he actually is. Actually crying that he had to take down, not take out, because Garp is not... I honestly feel like this isn't the last time we've seen Garp, but it's going to be a while before we see Garp again. I feel like we'll see Garp in the last DLC pack of One Piece, for One Piece Power Warriors 4, along with Roger and possibly Rayleigh, before we see Garp again in the series. This arc will be one that will go down in the record books. Look, it is, because we've seen the true strength of Garp in this arc. We've seen that Luffy, even with Gear 5, using Gear 5, is easily no match for Lucci. Wait. Lucci is no match for Luffy. I'm sorry, I worded that wrong. Lucci, even with his awakened Zoan state, is no match for Luffy in his Gear 5 state. Because, I mean, with the whole Hito no Mi Model Nika, Luffy's basically a god. He's basically... That's crazy to me! That's so crazy to me! This whole arc showcasing just how strong Luffy is, and he's capable of just easily manhandling an individual who had no trouble manhandling him all the way back in Eni's lobby. That's how strong Luffy is now. It's literally a reversal of their first time seeing each other after 2 years. Personally think we'll drop Vegapunk at Elbaf and he'll either be picked up or make his own way to Kamabaka. Maybe a cover story or just off screen. Maybe. And prepare for the next episode to break the internet. Crunchyroll will probably go into overdrive. I hope nothing happens to Crunchyroll where it keeps me from being able to make that reaction. Be prepared to hear me scream my heart out when I see this next episode for One Piece. I can't wait to see it. But, all the reveals that we got during the Egghead Island arc, the names of all the Gorosei members, the full reveal of Im-sama being the true ruler of the world, and apparently a devil fruit user just like the 5 elders themselves. We don't know what aspect they are or what they are. Some may be Zoans, some might be ancient Zoans, or some might be mythical Zoans. There's options here. But what we do know is that every member of the Gorosei, and including Im-sama himself, it presumably has a devil fruit power as well. We find out that the Nefeltari family are are D's, just like Luffy and anyone else who has a D in their name. So that's cool. Vivi's always had that spirit of rebellion in her from birth. And it wasn't just her being a princess who wanted to rescue her whole entire kingdom. It's that whole feeling of oppression that always goes up against members of the D name that is just so prevalent throughout this series. So that's cool. We see this full strength of Garp, a man that only Roger was capable of contending with. And when it comes to pirates, sure, there were many rivals, but Roger was the only true rival to Garp when they were in their prime. And even now, as Garp is older, he's still capable of bodying literally everyone that goes up against him. Even Kuzan! And mind you, we get revealed that Kuzan has been trained by Garp to get comparable to him in strength. Not saying that he's stronger than Garp, because he's not, but he has strength comparable to him, at least enough to give Garp a run for his money. And since they're both older, but Kuzan is still younger than Garp, he still has a little bit of an edge of being, definitely younger. But yeah, we've seen examples where that didn't really matter. Age does not matter when it comes to strength in this series, because Garp is all the way in his 70s, and he's still able to body literally every single person that goes up against him. Every single person that's went up against Garp during this whole Hachinosu fight has wound up with a bloodied face, or a broken bones, or a bodied body. Everyone. And the only thing major that Garp got from this entire fight was getting a stab wound directly through the chest, which did not slow him down, and getting hit in the face by a hockey-imbued fist of Kuzan. Wait, did we find out the D can be passed to people, or is that a theory? I vaguely remember Saw D Bo. No, that was a joke. That was a joke. You don't just pass it on to other people just because. Because even then, in that panel, it was saying like, "Hey, I know we can call you Saw D Bo," and then they were saying like, "That's not how that works." So no, I feel like it is something that is. I feel like that is something that you are born with. It's not something you just easily gain as a name. It's just it's hereditary. That's passed down family. It's a family name, or at least a lineage type name. But it's not something you can just give someone. So that's probably a theory. People probably took that moment where Luffy was saying like Sadibo as literal, as very literal. And knowing the internet, they probably ran with it, and a ton of people went along with it. Oh, wait, yeah, it's Ace making a joke. I remember now, my bad. Don't worry about it, Halster. It happens. But people really just took a run for it. You can definitely see the latest version of Rob Lucci in Pirate Warriors 4 DLC. Look, it's the thing that in the last pack for Pirate Warriors 4 that we're going to be getting for the second character pass, the first starting character we have in there is Roger himself. We've never had Garp. We've never had Roger. Wow, I was just about to say Garp. We never had Roger as a playable character outside of mobile games. Ever. Roger is a character in mobile games. And these two games are gacha games where you got to hope that you get those characters. I managed to get Garp when I was playing Treasure Cruise. Never spent a single cent on it because I don't do that. Because gachas will get you. But we've never had Gold D Roger as a playable character in any video game. Any major video game. So that alone has already got my attention. So it makes me think that, what if we are getting a Legends pack? What if we're getting like Garp, Rayleigh, and Roger? Garp, I would love to see more pattern off of how he is now in the comics rather than the joke wrestler character they made him in One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. And Rayleigh, it's anyone's guess, but he'll probably be incredibly strong. But Roger has to be the strongest out of everyone. That's the only way it's going to be accurate. He's the strongest, with Garp being the second strongest. That's how it has to be. Yamato has to be in there too. Look, there's a lot of people, like in a couple of Discord servers, well, one Discord server that I'm in, a lot of people tend to do a lot of data mining, and some are surmising that we could be getting, not only are we getting Luffy for Roof Piece, which gives us access to Gear 5, but we could also be getting Man Beast Kaido and Yamato as well. Man Beast Kaido seems really good. Because, I mean, I like Kaido, I like playing as Kaido in the game, but when he goes into, like, his dragon form, it's too cumbersome, he gets hit too easily, and not every single one of his attacks hit unless I'm using that move where he's swirling around in place and he's whipping up all the enemies. But if we get Man Beast Kaido, who's far more agile, who's far more powerful than even his dragon form, I would definitely love that. Having Yamato as a playable character would be awesome as well. Then we have that whole pack with Uta, and I really don't know who could possibly be in that. Because it could either be someone from the movies, Film Red, or just movies in general, or some guest characters as well. Uta's going to be playable. I would love to have Shanks playable with I would love to have Divine Departure Shanks as a playable character. That would be awesome. And I'm just thinking of like who else could be in there as well. And the strength to manhandle somebody like San Juan Wolf, who is the size of Skyscraper. Yeah, we saw the strength of Garp, but we also saw the strength of Kobe in the manga. I know I keep going back and forth. Wish we knew more about Rocks. I feel like Oda is going to reveal that to us when it is time for that information to come out. Can you imagine playing with King or Queen, or even Jack? Jack would be the weakest out of the three. I'm sorry, you mean Rocks D. Zebek. You don't need to include the whole name. We know exactly who you're talking about when you say Rocks. We know exactly so you don't need to worry about trying to put the whole name in there. We know exactly who you're talking about when we're talking about Rocks. Because don't nobody in this chat ever talks about Rocks as in the literal sense. We've never had that conversation. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I never had a conversation just talking about regular rocks. When we talk about rocks, we are talking about rocks de Zebek rocks. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But so many things have been revealed for this entire arc, and it's actually quite amazing that Oda, right after he was done finalizing the final season, has been releasing fire chapter after fire chapter. I didn't think I could get more hyped to look forward to another chapter, but Oda does it with every single one that he does, because the world building is just that intriguing for One Piece. Like, think about it. How often can you say you read a whole series where you're just waiting with bated breath to find out what new thing what new thing an author is going to reveal for their series? There's a lot of things I look forward to in My Hero Academia. There's a lot of things I look forward to in Jujutsu Kaisen. I enjoy reading Chainsaw Man. It's incredibly vulgar and everything, but the story as a whole, the world building as a whole, that's what has me drawn in. That is what has me drawn in. You know, you just love typing his name out. It's so fun, and you just like the word Zebek. Hey, it's perfectly all right. You do you. But it's the world building of these series. The world building of these different series that keeps me invested, because I love reading lore. I could sit down and look at the lore of different video games, read through notes and different patch notes and all sorts of things. I like information. In my group of friends, I'm known as the information broker, because I am the one who goes out and finds out information on tons of different things for them. I love finding out things and learning about things. I'm always learning something new, whether it's about animals, space, different countries and stuff like that. I love to learn. So when it comes to these stories, I love to learn more about these stories' worlds, their characters, economy, all these different things that expand upon this already monumentally large story. I love the world building. And Oda really does it well, because I want to know everything about One Piece. I want to know its history. I want to know the intricate natures of Haki, the intricate natures of devil fruits, the intricate nature of the world government, and the history of the Void Century. All these different things, all these mysteries, the history of the letter D. It's just, I enjoy information. And Oda does it in an entertaining way, where I'm getting constant information. Sometimes it harkens back to moments that we've seen in the past, but never really knew if it was really integral to the series, but it was just staring us in the face. He's so good at hiding spoilers for future events in plain sight that it just goes over our head until Oda calls back to it several chapters later, or even several years later. I love to learn about the world, nature, countries, which brings us to our sponsor. Brilliant! If only I had a sponsor. Maybe one day. I don't know. Another bit of randomness, it would be neat if Street Fighter 6 had pre-match dialogue like the Mortal Kombat games, because I'd love to see a possible interaction between current Ken and Cody. I'm actually surprised that they don't have that, because they seem incredibly animated for characters in that game, so I'm kind of surprised that they don't have starting dialogue to go up against each other. Kind of like Injustice. There's a lot that you can do with, starting dialogue at the beginning. Like having Ryu talking to Blanca, or Ryu talking to Chun-Li, or Juri talking to Chun-Li, or the like. There's so many possibilities for that. Kind of giving up on finding out about rocks. Feels like the time for that has passed, but I don't mind seeing the past members later, like Wang Ji or Silver Axe. I feel like we'll probably learn more about rocks when we find out more about God Valley. Because we just had the introduction of a person who's affiliated with God Valley. So it's not too outside of the realm of possibility that we could learn more about God Valley through Garling. Figureland Garling. We could learn more about God Valley through that, because it was originally he was known as a king, but they changed it so he was like a very important figure for God Valley. So we could find out more about God Valley through Figureland Garling and interactions with the Holy Knights. Who's to say the Holy Knights might actually be all individuals from God Valley? Who's to say? We don't know. If we're getting Uta, then we might as well get Shiki. You can only imagine how OP he would be. See, a lot of people were saying, like, if we're getting a movie character like Uta, we could possibly get other movie characters from other movies. Shiki, Gil Tesoro, Douglas Bullet. There's a lot of people you could possibly include in that. Side note, but didn't that last Chainsaw Man chapter feel like West Side Story meets Twin Peaks? Yeah, it kind of did, Kobe. Man, you totally stole my swagger from like 8 years ago. Welcome back, Ravi. I'm about to close it out here. I feel like we'll find out more about Rocks when we find out more about God Valley, Garling's life, and even Blackbeard. Carlster, you are literally saying what I just said, except for that Blackbeard part, because I never even took that into consideration. But we'll find out more about God Valley from Garling, because I mean, you can't just introduce a person from God Valley. The last time we talked about officially to a big grand scale about God Valley was during the Ultimate chapter, where Garp gained the nickname Hero of the Marines. And that's the last time we had any major talks about God Valley. Then we got Figureland Garling, who shows up, and he was an important figure from then. So there's also other things going on, like how Edward Weevil was taken by Ryokugyu, and then how what is her name? Buckingham Stussy, that's her name. Miss Buckin, saying that the only way to figure out whether or not Edward Weevil is truly the son of Whitebeard is to go to Vegapunk himself. So there's still more people trying to make their way to Egghead to confront Vegapunk. So there's a lot of things going on, and I don't want to keep you guys here any longer than I already have talking about it, but there's just smells like heat. Smells like heat in here. Interesting. But we'll talk about that later. All I can say is that these were only 2 chapters that we got in the month of July concerning One Piece. Overall, they were fantastic. But now, I really hope we're getting back to Egghead so we can figure out what's going to happen there as the Navy gets closer and closer to basically razing this entire place to the ground. But here's another thing. I feel like things could go from bad to worse concerning Sentomaru and the civilians. Because if Sentomaru is seen as a traitor to the world... Why do I feel heat? Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Everything's good, it's just that the air was off, and now it's coming back on, and since it's hot outside, the air coming out of the air conditioning first, it will be hot, but now it's going to get cooled in a little bit because the heat is starting to pick up outside. But there's a lot of things to consider about where we could possibly go. Concerning where Egghead is right now. A lot of theories. I really hope that we see what's going on more with Egghead, and as the Navy gets close, as the Blackbeard pirates get close, and as the big fights that are happening inside of Egghead at the top, as the Seraphim are trying to kill everybody, it should be interesting to see how this whole thing concludes. Plus, we still got Jewelry Bonnie, who's nowhere to be seen, and we got Vegapunk, who's at the mercy of York. So there's a lot of things going on, but as I said, I'm a lover of information, and I can't wait to see how Oda expands on everything from here. Because if Luffy's barricaded inside Egghead, but they're trying to leave, something's gonna have to break at some point. And if the Buster Call doesn't start, If the Buster Call doesn't start, then they still got Kizaru and one of the Gorosei to deal with. Because not only that, but they got the Blackbeard Pirates to deal with. So it feels like there's just so many substantially important figures who are going to be showing up to Egghead right here, right now. And there's the three last Seraphim going after the Cross Guild. Seraphim Doflamingo, Seraphim Gecko Moria, and Seraphim Crocodile. And not only that, but Akainu is ready to mobilize. Like, he's already working towards mobilizing. Matter of fact, let me find that chapter, because it wasn't too long ago that we got that chapter. Okay, this is too far back. We need to go forward just a little bit more. What I think it's yes, it was chapter 1082. Let's go take it. Wait, is this it? Is this it? No, this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't it. That's not the right chapter. Where is it? No, it's not chapter 1083 either. It's one of these where it says that they were all started mobilizing. I think it might be 1085 or 1086. Because it's not 1084. It's not 1084. Which one is it? Because the one where they're saying that Akainu's ready to mobilize, that's the chapter I'm looking for. Okay, it's not 1085, because that's when Sabo was going up against the Gorosei. And Im-sama, I think it might be 1086. Yes! The same chapter where we get the names of all of the Gorosei. 1086. Thank you, Ogata. Okay, the Navy was stretched thin between the end of the Seven Warlords and quelling the sudden uprisings in member countries of the government. However, this was only the start of a new Navy campaign. So, yeah, we got all these different rebellions that are happening in different nations. But we also have this new campaign that includes Seraphim Doflamingo, Seraphim Gecko Moria, and Seraphim Crocodile. And that's part of a brand new, the start. All of this was just the start of a brand new Navy campaign, and we don't even know the end goal of this campaign either. So, there's a lot of things happening in the world of One Piece that's not even centered around Blackbeard and his crew, Shanks is his crew, or Luffy and everyone else on Egghead. There's still other things going on at the same time. So my question is, what is this new campaign for the Navy? What's their end goal this time? Because Akainu's basically fed up at this point. He's already done with it. Like, he wants to raise the sea of pirates once and for all. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually fed up right now. But as I close this out, I just want to get back to Mythical Zoans before I close it out. Mythical Zoans is a subclass of Zoan that allows users to transform into creatures that are the subject of myth and legend. It is the rarest Zoan type, even rarer than Logia powers, and in accordance with this rarity, seems to be the most powerful Zoan category. On top of the transformation itself, most mythical Zoan fruits come with mythical abilities that are paramecia-like in nature. Examples include the Daibutsu Zoan's ability to produce shockwave, the Phoenix Zoan's ability to heal using blue flames, and the Nine-Tailed Fox's Zoan's ability to transform into someone's lookalike, heavily resembling a certain paramecia power. Some mythical Zoan's users have demonstrated access to such special abilities without invoking their transformation. The Hito Hito no Mi Madonika, in particular, permanently transforms the consumer's body into a rubbery state, akin to the lasting effects of certain body-altering paramecias. Finally, a mythical Zoan fruit may bestow more than just one special ability. E.g., Kaido is able to create and control different elements in his Azure Dragon form, fire, lightning, and wind, as well as conjure flame clouds to make himself and other things fly. So I just find that mythical Zoans are incredibly cool, and I hope we get Man Beast Kaido and Man Beast Yamato as playable characters in the first pack for One Piece Power Warriors 4. But that's it. Overall, there's a lot of things happening in One Piece, and July, with only 2 chapters, has got us all wondering, where do we go from here? Because this is insane. And we're about to move into August, tomorrow. August, September, October, November, December. Only 5 months left in this year. Can you believe it? Only 5 months left. 5 months left of this year once we start into August, including August. Funnily enough, while mythical zoans are said to be rare, we've seen nearly the same amount of mythical zoans as we have Logia fruits. Really? Hold on. Let me see. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 mythical zoans. 9 mythical zoans. And canonically, okay, so we've seen more Logias than we've seen mythical zoans, because canonically, there have been 13 Logia types that we've seen. The smoke fruit, sand fruit, flame fruit, rumble fruit, chili or ice fruit, dark fruit, glint fruit, mag fruit, soot fruit, swamp fruit, gas fruit, snow fruit, and the woods fruit. These are the 13 official Logias that we've seen in the series so far. So we've seen, it's rare. We've seen more Logias. We've seen more Logias than we've seen mythical zoans. There needs to be at least 3 new stages for Power Warriors 4 DLC as well. And they also need to expand on the level up system as well, because we only get like 3 maps. And there's some data miners have said that we could possibly be getting a brand new shared map that'll give our characters new abilities on top of, maxing out all our stats and everything. But that's speculation. But this is the information that they're getting from the data mining that they've done for the DLC itself. So I'm hoping they're right, so we can make our characters stronger, because having characters maxed out at level 18 is absurd, and quite possibly the oddest number I've ever seen for a Muso game, where everyone goes up to either 100 or 99 or 999, or 250 depending on the game itself. So hopefully we'll find out more information. Hopefully this holds weight, so that way I have a reason to want to boost up characters even more. Because if all this DLC does is just give us characters and not give us new stages, I feel like it'll be just a repeat of what they did for the last character pass. Because we didn't get any new stages or new skills or anything new other than just characters. I hope they go the extra mile to make people actually enjoy this DLC more than just getting 9 characters in total. You don't know about Sengoku, Marco, Luffy, Kaido, Katarina, Devon, Yamato. Who are you missing? You are missing Stronger and Onimaru, the white fox from Wano. Stronger is the horse of Q, and Onimaru is the white fox that was very close to Ryuma in the past, and also known as Gyukimaru during Wano. So those are the ones. And Orochi as well. Orochi and Onimaru, and Stronger. Yep. Just what Halster said. But I've carried on long enough as it is. I'm going to look at this page of... Well, actually, I'm going to stay off of the One Piece page because I don't want to see any potential spoilers, because apparently there have been spoilers out there already for 1089, and I don't want to see any of it on a Monday before we even get towards Sunday. But, yeah. This is all I wanted to talk about concerning the chapters of One Piece today. And, well, all of y'all showing up today, thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. You make these reflections very entertaining to do. And it's so easy for me to just flow into talking about things about One Piece, because it's just so natural to me now. I used to have stage fright. I used to be intimidated by getting in front of crowds. And now here I am, in front of who knows how many people out here on the internet lands, and I'm just like, this is natural to me. Yeah, gotta watch a bunch of car videos so you don't get spoiled. I'm gonna continue to watch some anime and just play some other games or just watch movies, but I'm gonna be very careful. I've already blacklisted certain words, so that way it won't point me into that direction. I've already made it so that YouTube won't recommend me certain channels, because certain channels like to have these videos out as early as possible to, you know, get the most views real quickly, regardless if it spoils people or not, because, you know, we gotta spoil people to get the views before we actually be honorable. But yeah, we're done. We're done. I will see you guys tomorrow when I continue to read One Piece. I know I carried on for a lot longer than I originally intended, but I'm glad I got all my thought process out. Hopefully I covered all the bases concerning the recent chapters, so we can have something major to look forward to, the upcoming chapters for this upcoming Sunday. It's been a while since my last voiceover stream. Well, we're going to have to do another one, aren't we? We might as well do it in August because I'm going to be done with my One Piece series on the 11th of August. And during that time, I'll have some free time, which means that we'll have enough time to do another voiceover stream. So I'll put a post in the community tab for voices you guys want me to try and do, or make, or create using my, voice mod software and stuff. So I'll put a post up. You guys can post who you would like for me to do during that whole stream, and we'll have that up because I'll be more free after the 11th. So yeah, that'll be something that I do in August. So just be patient with me. But all I can say to everyone right now is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, then please, because it helps the channel, like, subscribe, and share this stream with everyone you know, because the more the merrier, and because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!